Lily Peters. On April 24, 2022, what began as a normal Sunday afternoon turned into a tragedy. Around 3 p.m., 10-year-old Lily Peters left her home to visit her aunt. It was a trip she made often. The house was only a 3-minute bike ride away, and nothing seemed unusual. However, that evening, Lily didn't come home. At first, the father, Alex, thought she might still be at his sister's house. When he called, however, his sister said Lily had already left over an hour earlier. Alex tried calling the parents of Lily's friends, hoping she had stopped by to play, but no one had seen her. Growing worried, he retraced the path Lily usually took, and around 9 p.m. contacted the police to report her missing. While looking along a trail, though, Alex made a chilling discovery. Lily's bike, abandoned with no sign of her. Hours later, just before 9 a.m. the next morning, a volunteer searcher found her body under a pile of leaves only a few feet from the trail. Police confirmed the worst. Lily had been murdered. At first, investigators had no clear leads, but then, online, a post about Lily's disappearance appeared on the true crime subreddit. While many people speculated, one comment stood out. A user called Home Slice Nation 4 wrote that they had been playing Pokemon Go on the same trail that day. They said they saw Lily in a pink and purple hoodie walking with another kid. The comment ended with, "I have a suspicion that it could be another kid that did it." The post was later deleted, but another Reddit user reported it to the police tip line. That single clue gave investigators the lead they needed. Within hours, police arrested 14-year-old Carson Petersberger, Lily's cousin. During questioning, Carson admitted to the crime. He explained that he had followed Lily as she rode her bike, lured her into the woods, and attacked her in a plan he had been forming for months. He punched her in the stomach, beat her with a stick, and strangled her before returning home as if nothing had happened. Later, after noticing police searching the area, he came back to move her body deeper into the woods and tried to cover it with leaves. Because of the brutality and premeditated nature of the attack, prosecutors decided Carson would be tried as an adult. He remains in custody to this day, with his trial scheduled for 2026. Utaho no Tatari. Utaho no Tatari is the name of 2 Japanese horror games, both of which had a really eerie backstory. The real mystery began in 2014, when someone posted on the subreddit r/creepygaming about a disturbing discovery in the second game. They had triggered what looked like a glitch. After following a strange series of steps, the game screen filled with scrambled text. Then the screen went black, flashed white 4 times, and finally displayed a very unsettling, low-quality photo. It appeared to show a woman, with most of her face hidden in dark shadows and something wrapped around it. The image was so disturbing that players began to wonder if it might actually be a real photograph of human remains. This idea didn't seem impossible, since other obscure games, such as the infamous Hong Kong 97, had used actual victim photos taken from the news. Before long, people discovered that this was not a random glitch at all, but a hidden event programmed into the game. By changing their computer settings to Japanese, players could read the missing symbols in the error message with scrambled text. At first, it looked like a standard crash screen, but then, the game's main character, Utaho, suddenly began addressing the player directly. The event was triggered by walking through 3 torii gates, traditional Japanese shrine gates. Doing this started a hidden timer, and once the timer ran out, the so-called glitch sequence would play, ending with the disturbing photo. The question of where that haunting image came from remained. Reverse image searches showed nothing, and for years, no one had a clear answer. Many theories were suggested, but without proof, the mystery stayed unsolved. Then, in 2022, someone on Reddit finally uncovered the source of the photo. It was not from a crime scene. Instead, it came from a Japanese horror film called Hair Extensions, released in 2007. The exact frame appears in the movie's trailer, showing a woman staring lifelessly into the camera. After nearly 10 years of speculation, the mystery was solved. The Post-it Notes. On April 15, 2015, a man who used the username R.Bradbury had a really strange experience. He lived alone, but that morning he found a post-it note on his desk with a list of chores written on it. The handwriting was not his. At first, he tried to ignore it, but a few days later, another post-it appeared, this time stuck to the back of his chair. It said, "Save your documents." This was the moment when the search truly began. Bradbury started to believe that someone was secretly entering his apartment and leaving these notes, so to find out who it was, he set up a webcam to record his desk. But the situation only grew stranger. On April 20th, he woke up to another post-it. It read, "Our landlord isn't letting me talk to you, but it's important we do." Shocked, he rushed to check the webcam recordings, but the video files on his computer were gone. It looked as if someone had deleted them. Soon after, even more post-it notes appeared, this time covering his doors, but they were all blank. Bradbury began to suspect his landlord, thinking that the handwriting on the notes looked similar to his landlord's. Not knowing what else to do, he turned to Reddit for advice. He posted on the subreddit r/legal advice, explaining his situation and asking whether he could press charges against his landlord. The post quickly gained a lot of attention, and the most common suggestion was that Bradbury might be sleepwalking and writing the notes himself without realizing it. Then, a Reddit user named Kakerlak noticed something important in one of Bradbury's earlier posts. Bradbury had mentioned that he slept in a small bedroom with no windows. Kakerlak asked, "Do you get bad headaches?" And Bradbury admitted that he often did. That is when Kakerlak suggested another possible explanation: carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide is a dangerous gas that cannot be seen or smelled. In a poorly ventilated room, it can build up without anyone noticing, and breathing it in can cause confusion, memory loss, and even hallucinations. In serious cases, it can be deadly. Bradbury decided to test this theory, so he bought a carbon monoxide detector and plugged it in. Immediately, the alarm went off. His apartment was filled with the gas, and he had been breathing it the entire time. The notes were real, but he had been writing them himself while poisoned, then forgetting he had done it. The missing webcam recordings were not deleted by an intruder. The software he used simply was not saving the files. As for the handwriting, Bradbury later realized he had not compared it to his landlord's at all, but to a letter from his mother. Google Maps help messages. In early 2025, one discovery on Google Maps in Los Angeles spread quickly online and became a viral mystery. In a rail yard near Dodger Stadium, the word "help" could be seen written again and again in giant letters. Nearby were other words, including federal and LAPD. Each letter had been carefully built using long pipes or large wooden boards. When people first noticed the writing, theories began to spread immediately. Some thought it was a real cry for help, maybe from people trapped or being forced to work. The fact that the writing was inside a Union Pacific rail yard fueled more suspicion. Los Angeles railways have a history of theft and crime, and some feared this was connected to organized trafficking or forced labor. People contacted the LAPD, who quickly went to check the site, and around the same time, a social media user visited the rail yard with a camera to film what it looked like from the ground. What he found changed everything. The rail yard was surrounded by homeless encampments, and even though the area was supposed to be fenced off, a large hole in the fence made it easy to enter. Local homeless residents explained that the writing wasn't a signal from victims at all. It was the work of another homeless man who had been creating these giant messages for years. The LAPD later confirmed this story. They said they had spoken to the man many times before and had even offered him both housing and mental health support, but he always refused. Have you dreamed of this man? In 2008, a website appeared asking a simple question: have you dreamed of this man? The site quickly filled with short, eerie stories from people who claimed they had. Posters with the same sketch and the same question even began showing up in cities. Within a year, the mystery had gone viral. More than 10,000 people had written to the site, saying they too had seen him in their sleep. Soon, the idea that this man was part of some real, supernatural phenomenon started gaining traction. On forums like 4chan, users decided to investigate, and they actually found the solution. A reverse IP lookup of the website showed it was connected to a guerrilla marketing company, a group that promotes ideas or products through unusual and attention-grabbing stunts. This raised suspicion that the Dream Man wasn't real at all, but simply a creation. In 2010, the site's creator, Italian sociologist and marketer Andrea Natella, admitted that the whole thing was a stunt. He said the drawing was based on his father and that the early dream testimonials were not real, but he never explained what the campaign was supposed to promote, and the website was simply left online. Not everyone who emailed the site was lying, though. Many people probably did dream about the man, but it might have just been a mental suggestion after seeing the image and hearing the stories. I feel fantastic. If you're 18 or older, you probably saw the viral video called "I Feel Fantastic." In it, a stiff robot with wide, staring eyes sang an eerie tune that kept saying, "I feel fantastic," while wearing different outfits. The video seemed to appear out of nowhere, and once it spread, people couldn't stop speculating about what it really was. The most popular theory was frightening. The robot had been built by a disturbed criminal who dressed it in the clothes of his victims. At some point in the video, the camera pointed towards a random garden, and people speculated that was the place where the victims were buried. The mystery only deepened when the original upload disappeared from the internet. Re-uploads kept circulating for years, keeping the legend alive but never solving the question of where this strange robot actually came from. In 2020, writer Yeetzy Lit decided to investigate, and searching through old websites, Lit found photos of the same robot on obscure Android enthusiast forums, some dating back to 2001. These forums revealed the name of the man who created it, John Bergeron. Far from being a criminal, Bergeron was an inventor trying to build something new for the entertainment industry. The robot's name was Tara, and Bergeron had built her as a prototype for about $2,000 at the time. His dream was to mass-produce Tara as a singing android, but that plan never succeeded. If you want to discuss this video or suggest an idea for the next one, join my Discord, link in the description.